everyone. So today we're going to be solving inequalities that might be a little more complicated, but we're still just solving them as if we were solving equations and applying those rules of inverse operations and everything that we've talked about in the past. So when solving multi-step inequalities, I want you to remember the DCMAM, don't call me after midnight, when solving multi-step inequalities. Even though we use that with solving equations, we're going to apply those same exact steps to solving inequalities. So hopefully you remember that stands for distribute first. Then you're going to combine like terms. Remember, this only applies if the like terms are on the same side of the equal sign. Then you move the variables, preferably the ones with the smaller coefficients in front. Then you're going to add or subtract the constants, and you're going to multiply or divide to get that variable by itself. But remember, we're solving inequalities today, so if you multiply or divide by a negative number, you have to remember to flip that inequality symbol. Okay, so don't call me after midnight. We need to remember these steps as we're solving these multi-step inequalities. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So example 1 is solve the following inequality for h. Write your answer in simplest form. Okay, so simplest form kind of hints at the fact that there might be fractions involved. So let's go ahead and let's draw those train tracks first. Now there's nothing to distribute, and if you take a look at both sides of the inequality symbol, these are not like terms and these are not like terms, so we can't combine anything. So we're going to go right into moving the variable. So here we have 3h, and here we have negative h. We move the one that has the smaller number in front, so that happens to be this one because there's that invisible -1 there. Okay, so we're going to start by adding that to both sides because we're using that inverse operation. Remember to line it up with its like term and combine. So those are going to cancel out. And 3h plus 1h gives you 4h. Okay, bring down that +7. Bring down that inequality, and then we're going to bring down that -10. Remember to bring that minus sign with it. Now we're going to solve this two-step inequality. So the next step would be to move the constant, add or subtract the constant. In this case, we're going to subtract it. Okay, so these cancel out. We're left with 4h. It's greater than or equal to, and same signs add and keep. So we're going to keep the sign the same, so we get -17. All right, last step here is we're going to divide by this 4. It's a +4, so we do not touch the inequality sign. So those cancel. So we have h is greater than or equal to, okay, so -17 over 4, that's a fraction that we cannot simplify. So we're going to leave it as -17 over 4. I believe you can also write your answers as decimals in Delta Math. So you can write it as h is greater than or equal to -4.25 if you'd like. Either one is the correct answer. Okay, so same exact steps as solving equations. Just remember, do not include an equal sign here. It's an inequality for a reason. All right, let's take a look at one more example. Okay, so we want to solve the following for x. Write our answer in simplest form. We've got a lot going on here, so let's draw those train tracks so we can stay nice and organized. And we do have parentheses here, so we know that we're going to distribute first. Remember, you're going to distribute this whole number outside, so treat it as if it is a -6, and you're distributing a -6. That's why I circle the subtraction sign with the number. Okay, so -6 times 4x gives us -24x, and then -6 plus 6 gives us -36. Now I'm going to just bring down anything we didn't touch, which includes this -3, our inequality symbol, and this -111. Okay, and if you need to, you can totally write these on the side to help you keep track. So we distributed, that was the first step. Next one, combine like terms. Remember, they have to be on the same side of the equal sign or the inequality symbol. So in this case, we do have like terms on the same side. This -3 and this -36 both don't have a variable. They're constants, so they're like terms. So we're going to combine those next. -3 times -6 gives us -39. And then I'm going to just bring down this -24x. and everything else. Okay. Now we want to move the variable. In this case, we already have the variable on one side of the equal sign, so we're going to skip this step. Then we go to add or subtract constants. So our constant is negative, so we're going to add it to both sides to cancel it out. Remember those inverse operations, opposites. So let's add 39 to both sides. That cancels. So we're left with negative 24x is greater than. Now different signs you subtract, keep the sign of the larger number. So you're going to get negative 72 here. Okay. So we added or subtracted our constant. And now the last step is to multiply or divide. We know that to isolate that variable, we're going to divide. So we're going to divide negative 24 here. Remember, you're dividing by a negative, so I'm going to put that star, and we're going to write flip, because we have to flip that inequality symbol. So we get these cancel out. So we're left with x is less than, a negative divided by a negative is a positive, and then 72 divided by 24 is 3. So our answer here is just the number 3. So we didn't have anything to simplify, no fractions. If we did, we have to make sure we simplify the fraction if possible. But yeah, remember to follow these steps. And remember this very important rule here. If you multiply or divide by a negative number, you have to flip that inequality symbol.